Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your legs feel firmer, steadier, and more energized than they did just the day before, without going to the gym, without medications, and without any fancy supplements. What if the turning point in your muscle recovery journey wasn't something external, but something already sitting in your fridge? Recent breakthroughs in nutritional neuroscience reveal that certain foods, when consumed at specific times, can begin restoring leg power in less than a day. This isn't magic, it's biology. Modern, evidence-based biology that taps into the natural repair systems already built into your body. Let's start with the truth that many people in their mid-50s and beyond often overlook. Weakness in the legs doesn't begin with muscle loss alone. It usually starts with a breakdown in communication. You might still have the muscle fibers, but they're no longer getting the memo to activate. It's like having a full staff on the floor, but the walkie-talkie between the manager and the team is malfunctioning. That's the nervous system's role, specifically the neural pathways that connect your brain and spine to your leg muscles. And when those signals weaken, so does your sense of strength, balance, and control. Studies from 2022 and 2023, conducted by leading mobility research institutes in North America and Europe, have confirmed that muscle dormancy, not decay, is often the core issue. That means your legs might still have the potential to perform, but they've simply gone offline. And just like a disconnected device, they can be reactivated with the right combination of fuel and timing. What's even more promising is that this neural reactivation doesn't require months of rehab. One specific food, rich in key neurotransmitter precursors and amino acids, can begin the rewiring process overnight, especially when eaten during your body's neurological golden window. That's the period when your nervous system is most receptive to repair signals, typically within a few hours after waking up or winding down for sleep. So what happens when this food enters your system? To put it simply, it fuels the biological messengers responsible for turning mental intention into muscular motion. It's not just about building strength, it's about restoring conversation. That two-way talk between your brain and legs that allows you to step confidently, stand longer, and climb without hesitation. You might be wondering, is this about some exotic superfood or supplement found only in specialty stores? Not at all. It's something surprisingly simple, accessible, and probably already part of your weekly grocery list. What matters most isn't just what you eat, but when you eat it and what it's paired with. We're going to dive deep into the fascinating interplay between dietary triggers, electrical nerve activity, and the molecular tools your body uses to rebuild its strength from within. Along the way, you'll learn how your lifestyle may be quietly shutting down your leg power and how a few simple tweaks to your meals could flip the switch back on. But before we move forward, let's take a quick moment to reflect on a common misconception, that getting older means inevitably losing the ability to move freely, climb stairs, or take long walks. That idea? It's outdated. New science tells us that age is only one small part of the story. In fact, your cells respond more to how you feed them than how old you are on paper. We'll break down the exact ingredients needed to reboot your neuromuscular function, how to activate cellular repair with targeted proteins, and why a certain nutrient, often missing in older adults' diets, is the missing link to turning on strength where you thought it was gone. And yes, we'll explain exactly how to implement it in a practical, doable morning routine starting tomorrow. There's something deeply empowering in realizing that your body still holds the blueprint for vitality. It just needs the right spark. And you don't have to be a fitness expert or nutritionist to access this. Whether you're 47, 62, or even 78, this protocol is built for real people living real lives. People who want to regain their stride, feel confident on their feet again, and experience their mornings with renewed stability. Let's zoom into what's actually happening inside your body when your legs start feeling weaker. Even though you haven't changed your daily routine, you might notice that tasks like standing up from the couch, walking across the room, or stepping off a curb suddenly require more concentration, more effort, or just take longer. That's not always because of muscle decay. It's often because the connection between your brain and legs has gone quiet. Imagine your leg muscles as a team of skilled builders. Now imagine that the foreman, your nervous system, is losing battery power in his megaphone. The workers haven't forgotten how to do their job. They just can't hear the instructions clearly anymore. That's where this food-based protocol begins to shine. It recharges the megaphone. And one of the fastest ways to do that is by fueling the junction point where nerves meet muscles, what scientists call the neuromuscular junction. This critical intersection thrives on specific nutrients, especially acetylcholine precursors, B-complex vitamins, and essential amino acids. When these are delivered in the right form and at the right time, something remarkable happens. Electrical signaling improves, muscle responsiveness returns, and the body begins to feel awake in a way that's hard to describe unless you've experienced that switch coming back on. One of the cornerstone nutrients that powers this process is an amino acid called isoleucine, often overshadowed by its more famous cousin, leucine. Isoleucine doesn't just support muscle growth. It supports nerve conduction and helps maintain the insulation around nerve fibers, known as myelin. And guess what? Many adults over 45 unknowingly consume less than the optimal amount needed to support this signaling highway. A powerful source of isoleucine? Cottage cheese. Particularly when combined with whole eggs, which are one of nature's richest sources of choline, the building block of acetylcholine. This combo works like a team. Choline restores the message, isoleucine enhances the pathway, and the protein matrix in both foods stabilizes the entire system, so it doesn't fizzle out after a short burst of activity. Now, let's talk timing. Your body has internal rhythms that affect how it uses nutrients. These rhythms, known as circadian cycles, govern everything from hormone release to muscle repair. Eating your first nutrient-rich meal within 45 minutes of waking up, especially one high in the ingredients we just mentioned, amplifies your body's ability to repair and reconnect neural circuits. That's why this strategy isn't just a diet tip. It's more like a biological reset button. You're aligning your nutrient intake with the brain's peak window for rewiring. And that makes a massive difference, especially when trying to regain strength you thought was lost forever. Still not sure if food can really shift the way your legs feel in such a short time? Consider this. In a controlled study published in 2023, participants over the age of 55 who consumed a morning meal high in choline and essential amino acids showed measurable improvements in balance and leg activation within 10 hours. Not days, not weeks, hours. What's even more encouraging is that participants didn't change their exercise levels or routines. The food alone kickstarted the restoration. One participant, Marilyn, a 64-year-old artist, described the sensation like this. It felt like my feet were finally plugged back in. So how can you start tomorrow? Keep it simple. After waking up, prepare a small bowl of cottage cheese, stir in a pinch of flaxseed for fiber and anti-inflammatory support, and pair it with 2 whole boiled or poached eggs. Optional, add a few spinach leaves or arugula on the side for a dose of dark greens, which we'll discuss in more detail later on. What's important is that this becomes a habit, not just a one-time experiment. Before we continue to explore how circulation, inflammation, and microvascular health influence your strength, let me pause and ask for something simple. If this video has opened your eyes to a new way of seeing your body, not just as something that ages, but as something that responds and rebuilds, I'd love for you to join our community by subscribing. But not just that. Leave a comment below sharing something personal. Have you ever had a moment where your legs felt disconnected from your energy? Or have you tried a food routine that gave you surprising results? Sharing your story could help someone else in the same situation feel understood, and maybe even try something new. Your voice matters here. This isn't a space for perfect answers or magic fixes. It's a space for small discoveries, shared tools, and real improvement. So, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and let's move forward together. Now that we've re-established the foundation of neuromuscular communication, let's talk about a key player that most people don't even think about when it comes to strength: blood flow. The way your blood moves through your body, especially through the arteries and capillaries that feed your lower limbs, determines how much oxygen, nutrients, and cellular instructions actually reach the muscles in your legs. Without adequate circulation, even the best food or the strongest muscle fiber remains underpowered, like a high-tech device running on a weak battery. And here's the surprising truth. By your late 50s or early 60s, circulation to the legs can slow down by as much as 20 to 30% compared to your 30s. Not because of major disease, but due to subtle vascular rigidity and reduced nitric oxide production. That's the natural gas your blood vessels release to help them widen when needed, like turning on a garden hose. When this doesn't happen efficiently, the hose stays constricted, and your legs don't get the pressure they need to function at full strength. The fix? You guessed it, food. Specifically, foods that boost nitric oxide production naturally. Among them, one stands out for its fast-acting and clinically tested effects: beets. Raw beets, beetroot juice, or lightly steamed slices can all provide high levels of dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. Within 90 minutes of consumption, vasodilation improves, and muscle oxygenation rises significantly. Let's look at the science. A 2015 clinical study focused on men and women aged 58 to 72 who drank 250 milliliters of beetroot juice and then performed moderate physical activity. The result? Within just 2 hours, there was a measurable increase in walking speed, balance performance, and leg muscular endurance, particularly in what scientists call fast-twitch muscle fibers. These fibers are crucial for quick reactions, stair climbing, and preventing falls. And guess where they're most often located? That's right, in your thighs and calves. You don't need to be a runner or an athlete to benefit from this. Let's say you have a day filled with errands, chores, or a long walk. If you consume a cup of beet juice or eat 2 small roasted beets an hour beforehand, you're priming your system to deliver more blood, more oxygen, and more strength to your legs, exactly when you need it. It's like turning up the volume on your muscles' power output. What's even better is that the effect compounds with movement. A light physical activity, such as a 15-minute walk, gentle yoga, or stair climbing, amplifies nitric oxide production when combined with beet intake. That means by simply walking around your home or stretching while doing housework, you can further boost your circulation in a natural, safe, and energizing way. Now let's address something many people ask. What about the sugar in beets? While it's true that beets have natural sugars, the glycemic load is moderate, especially when paired with protein or fiber. For example, combining beets with a hard-boiled egg, a handful of almonds, or a small serving of cottage cheese balances the response. In other words, the benefits far outweigh any minor spike in blood sugar. Here's a practical tip. If you're planning to be active in the morning, consume your protein-rich breakfast as we described earlier, and then have your beets 60 to 90 minutes before your main activity. If your movement happens in the afternoon, reverse it. Start with the beets, then follow with your protein. This simple switch helps align nitric oxide levels with muscle performance, improving both function and fatigue resistance. Let me share a quick example. One gentleman in his early 70s wrote to us after trying this strategy. He said that for months, he'd felt uneasy going down the stairs in his apartment building. After following the beet and walk combo for just 1 week, he noticed greater confidence, steadier steps, and the ability to move without gripping the handrail tightly. That's not just blood flow. That's independence returning. And that's the real heart of this conversation. We're not just talking about food or physiology. We're talking about freedom. The freedom to go for a walk without worrying about stumbling. The freedom to chase after your grandchildren or climb the bleachers at a family event. When your legs feel strong, your world opens up. In the next section, we'll dive into one of the most invisible but destructive enemies of leg strength: chronic low-grade inflammation. It's not something you can feel directly, but it quietly erodes muscle recovery, coordination, and energy over time. And there's a powerful category of food that can help calm this fire from the inside out, without pills, powders, or painkillers. When we think about pain or weakness in the legs, we often focus on muscles, bones, or nerves. But there's something deeper, something that works quietly in the background and has the power to affect all of those systems at once: chronic inflammation. Unlike the type of inflammation you get from a cut or an injury, this is a low, persistent flame that keeps burning beneath the surface. You might not see it or even feel it right away, but it can slowly diminish your leg strength, coordination, and stamina. This type of inflammation doesn't come with flashing warning signs. It manifests subtly. Maybe your legs take longer to recover after activity. Maybe they feel stiff in the morning or weak by the afternoon. Or perhaps your balance feels just a little off for no obvious reason. These might be your body's quiet messages that systemic inflammation is interfering with your recovery and performance. The problem is that chronic inflammation blocks the very systems responsible for muscle repair. It disrupts mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside your cells that generate the energy needed for movement. It also interferes with protein synthesis, the process your body uses to build and restore tissue. And perhaps most critically, it weakens the communication between your nervous system and your muscles. So even if you still have the strength, your body can't fully access it. But here's the encouraging part. Inflammation isn't just something that happens to you. It's something you can influence. One of the most powerful tools to lower systemic inflammation doesn't come from a pharmacy. It comes from your produce drawer. And within that drawer, dark leafy greens stand out as anti-inflammatory powerhouses. Let's talk about greens like kale, spinach, collard greens, arugula, and mustard greens. These aren't just fiber-rich vegetables. They're rich in specific compounds like polyphenols, chlorophyll, magnesium, and natural nitrates. These compounds help regulate the immune system's inflammatory response and protect your cells from oxidative stress, one of the key drivers of premature muscle aging. One particular compound found in abundance in kale and mustard greens is quercetin, a flavonoid that has been shown to reduce levels of interleukin-6, IL-6, and C-reactive protein, CRP, two inflammatory markers linked to decreased muscle performance in adults over 60. In a landmark study published in 2019, adults who added just 1 cup of dark leafy greens to their daily routine saw a noticeable drop in inflammation within 2 weeks, especially when combined with gentle physical activity like walking or Tai Chi. But the benefits go beyond inflammation control. These greens also support blood purification, hormonal balance, and the production of glutathione, the body's master antioxidant. This trifecta leads to better recovery after movement, more stable energy throughout the day, and yes, even more vibrant cognitive clarity. You might be thinking, how do I actually make this work every day? The answer is simpler than you might expect. Add 1 generous handful, about a cup, of raw or lightly steamed leafy greens to your first meal of the day. This can be as easy as blending them into a smoothie, folding them into scrambled eggs, or tossing them with olive oil and lemon juice for a breakfast salad. If raw greens aren't your thing, sautéing them in a bit of avocado oil works just as well. To boost nutrient absorption, especially for fat-soluble vitamins like K, A, and E, combine your greens with a healthy fat source. Think avocado slices, a boiled egg, or a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Adding a splash of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice can also enhance digestion and help your body unlock more of the antioxidants inside those greens. If you're following a plant-based diet, greens become even more critical. They provide essential nutrients that are harder to obtain from other plant foods, especially when it comes to managing inflammation and supporting neuromuscular performance. And for those who find eating greens difficult, blending them into soups or stews, or baking them into savory muffins, are creative ways to stay consistent without relying on salads alone. Let me also be clear. This is not about perfection. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet. You just need a daily practice that signals your body to calm the inflammation, to rebuild the connection, and to open the internal channels of strength again. 1 cup of greens, 1 smart meal, 1 powerful shift in how your body communicates with itself. In the next part of this journey, we'll explore how meal timing, not just what you eat, but when you eat it, plays a critical role in how efficiently your body restores leg function and muscular strength as you age. Because believe it or not, eating protein at the wrong time can actually blunt the recovery signal your muscles desperately need. Now that we've covered what to eat, it's time to talk about something just as important: when to eat. If you're like most people, you probably assume that as long as you're getting enough nutrients throughout the day, the timing doesn't really matter. But when it comes to leg strength and muscle recovery, especially as we get older, meal timing can completely change the results. Let's begin with a process called muscle protein synthesis, MPS. This is your body's internal build and repair mode. When you consume protein, especially high-quality sources with complete amino acids, MPS is activated. The problem is that with age, your body becomes less sensitive to this signal. This phenomenon is called anabolic resistance, and it means that your body needs a stronger or more precise signal to trigger the same level of repair it once did with ease. So how do you overcome that resistance? By feeding your muscles at the right time, when your cells are naturally more responsive. And that time is in the morning, ideally within the first hour after waking up. That's when your muscle cells, your nervous system, and your hormonal pathways are most awake and ready to receive rebuilding instructions. Miss that window, and the same protein that could have supported your strength may instead just maintain the status quo. Consider this. In a study conducted by researchers in Tokyo, participants over 60 who consumed 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking up showed twice the rate of muscle synthesis compared to those who ate the same meal later in the day. The only difference was the timing. Why is this so effective? During the night, your body enters a fasting state. Your amino acid levels drop, your acetylcholine stores deplete, and cortisol, the hormone responsible for energy mobilization, begins to rise. Your system is primed for fuel and repair, not rest. So giving your body protein during this window is like handing tools to a construction team that's already waiting on the site. And this is especially relevant for leg strength. The muscles in your lower body are some of the most active during daily life. They carry you, stabilize you, balance you. But they're also some of the first to lose tone and responsiveness as you age. Timing your meals correctly ensures that these large muscle groups are constantly being maintained and recharged, rather than slowly weakening over time. Another key point: avoid spreading your protein too thin across the day. Many people unknowingly eat most of their protein at dinner and very little at breakfast. This lopsided approach leaves your muscles undernourished during the most anabolic hours of the day. A better strategy? Aim to consume at least 25-35 grams of high-quality protein in your first meal, ideally paired with sources of leucine, isoleucine, and choline as we discussed earlier. Here's a sample approach. Within 45 minutes of waking up, prepare a plate with 2 whole eggs, 1 or 2 cups of cottage cheese, and a side of sautéed spinach or kale. This combination delivers the amino acids, neurotransmitter support, and anti-inflammatory benefits you need to start the day strong. Add in a slice of avocado or a spoonful of olive oil to improve nutrient absorption, and you've just built a meal that not only fuels your morning, but also repairs your legs. It's also worth mentioning the role of intermittent fasting here. While fasting has benefits, it may not always be ideal for older adults trying to regain or maintain muscle function, especially if it delays your first protein intake past that early morning window. If you practice intermittent fasting, try modifying it so your feeding window starts earlier in the day rather than skipping breakfast entirely. Let's also talk hydration. Your muscles are 70% water, and dehydration can reduce neuromuscular performance, blood flow, and even neurotransmitter efficiency. As soon as you wake up, drink at least 300 to 500 milliliters of water, preferably with a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to replenish lost electrolytes. This helps rehydrate your nervous system and sets the stage for better nutrient delivery throughout the morning. And here's a powerful routine you can begin tomorrow. Wake up and hydrate immediately, before coffee, before breakfast. Within 45 minutes, eat a protein-rich meal with eggs, a dairy or plant protein source, and greens. If possible, go for a 10-minute walk afterward to help your body shuttle nutrients into your leg muscles and activate nitric oxide from any greens or beets consumed. This may sound simple, but it's rooted in hard science and real-world application. It's not about how hard you push. It's about how well you align your body's natural recovery systems with the nutrients and rhythms it needs most. In the next part of this journey, we'll address something many people try to push through, but often misunderstand: fatigue and power loss in the legs during simple tasks. We'll explore how a little-known neurotransmitter decline can make your legs feel weaker than they actually are. and what you can eat to restore that electrical spark that wakes your legs back up. There's a frustrating experience many adults report as they move into their 50s and 60s. Even after getting enough sleep, eating fairly well, and staying moderately active, their legs still feel tired, heavy, slow to respond, or simply lacking power. It's not just physical exhaustion. It's a kind of disconnect between intention and execution. You want to move, but your body seems to hesitate. You plan to rise from the couch or take that first step, but your muscles don't respond with the same sharpness they once did. What causes this? The answer lies in a little-known neurotransmitter called dopamine. Often associated with motivation and mood, dopamine also plays a critical role in motor control and neuromuscular precision. Without sufficient dopamine signaling, movements can feel delayed, shaky, or low in energy, even when the muscles themselves are still functional. And here's what's fascinating. As we age, dopamine production naturally declines, especially in regions of the brain responsible for movement. But that decline is not set in stone. In fact, nutrition, timing, and light activity can help restore dopamine pathways and reactivate your body's go signal, bringing back speed, strength, and coordination to your legs. Let's start with a food-based fix. To support dopamine, you need to feed its building blocks. One of the key precursors to dopamine is an amino acid called tyrosine. It's found abundantly in foods like pumpkin seeds, turkey, edamame, and hard cheeses. Tyrosine works as raw material for your brain to synthesize dopamine, especially when combined with cofactors like vitamin B6, magnesium, and iron. An ideal snack to boost dopamine in the afternoon? Try this: a handful of pumpkin seeds, a few slices of aged cheddar or plant-based cheese, and a small piece of dark chocolate, 70% or higher. Not only does this combo offer tyrosine, it also contains flavonoids that help support brain circulation and mental alertness, two factors that often go hand in hand with physical performance. Another natural booster of dopamine activity is green tea, thanks to its content of L-theanine. Unlike caffeine, which can overstimulate and then crash, L-theanine provides a calmer, more focused energy. Drinking a cup of green tea about an hour before planned activity, like a walk or light strength training, can help improve mental clarity and leg coordination simultaneously. Now, why does this matter so much for your legs? Because dopamine is deeply connected to motor readiness, your brain's ability to translate thoughts into physical action. When dopamine levels are low, messages from your brain take longer to reach your muscles. That's why you might notice hesitation, delayed step initiation, or even mild balance wobbles when standing up too fast. By recharging this pathway with the right nutrients, you can shorten the reaction time between decision and movement, making each action feel smoother and more intentional. It's like restoring the spark between the wires. In addition to tyrosine-rich foods, there's also a timing trick that can enhance this effect. Try to consume your dopamine-supporting meal or snack during your mental slump window, typically between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. That's when natural dopamine dips tend to occur, leading to afternoon sluggishness. By fueling at this time, you support both mood and muscle coordination during one of the most common low-energy periods of the day. Here's a bonus routine you can try this week. Around 2 p.m., I prepare a small plate with pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, and an optional slice of roasted turkey breast. Sip a cup of green tea while doing a brain-stimulating activity like a puzzle, journaling, or even watching a nature documentary. After about 30-45 minutes, go for a 10-minute walk, focusing on smooth, intentional strides. This simple 3-step protocol has been used in neurorehabilitation programs to help improve motor activation in individuals experiencing mild neurodegenerative symptoms. But it works just as well for anyone facing midlife or age-related energy and mobility slowdowns. One more important element: sunlight exposure. Dopamine is also tied to your circadian rhythm, and getting at least 10 to 15 minutes of morning or midday sunlight helps regulate its production. So if possible, take your walk outside. Your brain and your legs will thank you for it. In our final section, we're going to bring everything together: the nutrients, the rhythms, the circulation, and the neurological signals. But more importantly, we'll look at how to create a daily rhythm of strength so that your legs not only function better, but help you feel grounded, stable, and capable for the long road ahead. Let's wrap everything together. Throughout this journey, we've explored how simple, science-backed strategies can dramatically improve leg strength, balance, and mobility, without needing extreme exercise routines or invasive treatments. The truth is, your legs don't just carry you. They ground your independence, your energy, and your confidence. And when they begin to feel weak or unreliable, the ripple effect can impact everything, from your ability to move freely to your sense of self. But now, you know better. You've seen how strength is not just about muscle mass, but about neural activation, circulation, inflammation control, and biochemical signaling. And each of these systems responds remarkably well to the food choices you make and the rhythm you follow each day. It starts with a morning protocol, hydration, a protein-rich meal loaded with acetylcholine and leucine precursors, and light movement to ignite circulation. This first hour of your day sets the tone for how well your body will perform and repair in the hours to come. Next, you introduce beets or beet juice, not just as a food, but as a vascular activator, unlocking nitric oxide, opening blood vessels, and delivering fuel more efficiently to the muscles that carry you. You learn how to time your intake around your daily movements so your legs feel more alive, more supported, and more responsive. Then, by weaving in dark leafy greens, you lower systemic inflammation that quietly drains your strength from within. You don't wait for discomfort to show up. You get ahead of it, teaching your immune system to stand down so your mitochondria can ramp up. Add in a dash of healthy fat to boost nutrient absorption, and your plate becomes not just a meal, but a restoration strategy. Later in the day, you shift your focus to dopamine, reactivating the mental drive and motor readiness that gives your legs their snap, their push, their fluidity. You align snacks, sunlight, and stimulation with your body's natural rhythms, because motivation isn't just about mindset, it's about brain chemistry too. And most importantly, you let go of outdated beliefs that strength only comes from youth or that decline is inevitable. You now know that recovery is possible at any age, if you give your body what it truly needs, at the right time, in the right form, and with consistent rhythm. So where do you go from here? You start by not waiting. Don't wait until weakness becomes immobility. Don't wait until climbing stairs feels like a chore. Begin this rhythm tomorrow morning. Set out your ingredients tonight. Hydrate before anything else. Eat with intention. Move with purpose. And remember, strength isn't a distant goal. It's something your body is ready to reclaim right now. You've spent years giving your energy to work, to family, to responsibilities. Now it's time to give some of that energy back to yourself, not through overwhelming programs, but through simple choices, made daily, repeated gently, and aligned with how your body is built to thrive. Before we go, I want to invite you into something more meaningful than a video. I want to invite you into a community. If this journey helped you see your body differently, or gave you tools you didn't know you were missing, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. But more than that, leave a comment. Share your story. Tell us when your legs started feeling different. Tell us what you're going to try first. Did you already feel a shift after your first beet juice or leafy green breakfast? We want to hear it. This isn't just about views. It's about voices. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to take that first hopeful step. And if you've been quietly struggling with the fear of losing your strength or independence, I hope this video reminded you, you are not alone and you are not powerless. We're all walking this road together, step by step, meal by meal, day by day. And sometimes all it takes is one decision to start feeling strong again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And thank you for believing in the power of your own recovery.